What's good, everybody out there? If you are new to the channel, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Let's talk about it, all right? So, right now, I want to talk about just where we are as a country and going into this 2020 election for president. Where we are? Where are we? Not just as a country, as a people, as black people. And I speak to black people in particular because our issues are, all of our issues are intertwined, but our issues are sort of separate. We have a whole set of things that need to be addressed within our community as a people that no one has been able, number one, no one that represents the office of the presidency, they don't even bring these issues up. These issues don't even come up, and there's so many. I can go into a whole video about it, but I'm not. I just want to talk about just where we are coming down to the race. We have a president in Donald Trump who the sentiment of, just the sentiment that he's good for the black community is growing amongst the black community, which is something that I thought I'd never see in my life, but it's actually happening. And I really don't understand it, because we're talking about a person who has a documented history. People want to argue that and where's the proof and all this other stuff. He has a documented history way before he became president of the same of the sort of behavior that is not good for us as a country. Is definitely not good for us as a people. So I don't understand how he's growing in the black community. I mean, I do understand it, but I don't understand. I understand it because I understand the tricks that we fall for. I just don't understand how we keep falling for the same tricks. Give us some trinkets and everything, and, some money here, a little bit over here, and next thing you know, they're our savior. So it's just really interesting to see. But for me personally, this is how I feel about all of it.
Let me tell you something, man. See a thing named police, politician. Me not trust none of them boy, the road boy. Remember.
I'm not a fan of the system at all. And I feel like the same system that has always been oppressing us is going to continue oppressing us until we decide that we are going to actually do something that matters, which is vote with our dollars instead of with our mouths and, with the pen or the ballot box or whatever. We need to start voting with our dollars. We need to start creating more industry in our communities, and then we need to start spending and circulating that money only within our communities. But that's something that everybody's not going to do, sadly. People need their vices, sadly. So, it's when you say if you're not going to do it all, people are not going to do it. And there are people that may be down with the cause, but they're not going to stop supporting their favorite cigarette brand. They're not going to stop supporting their favorite liquor. They're not going to stop supporting their favorite shoe company. They're not going to stop supporting their favorite clothes manufacturer. They're not. They're just not. You know what I'm saying? People are just not going to do it. And it's really sad because it's really left us in the place that we've always been, which is at the mercy of rich white men. And that's what this presidential race is all showing, is just that no matter what, the fate of this country and the fate of all of us is going to be dictated by old rich white men. And that's what Trump, Biden, and Bernie represent. Old rich white men. See, the old rich white men or old rich Jewish men and Bernie. That's what we got. Why? Because Barack Obama was the last black messiah to be assassinated. Yeah, they assassinated him. They didn't kill him. They assassinated him. You know, everything that Barack Obama was supposed to stand for, assassinated. He was our last hope because he was the actual first legitimate black messiah to hold the highest office in the land. And yet at the end of his 8-year tenure, black folks was left unfulfilled. You know what I mean? And that was done by design, though. That's what people don't understand. It's done by design. The president is just a worker. He's just an employee. He has a boss like everyone else. You know what I'm saying? So the things that were instituted through the Obama administration was purposely done in order to assassinate him. You know, when it's all said and done, it's like, look, we gave y'all the biggest shot in the world at a black messiah, and he couldn't do nothing for y'all. So therefore, ain't nothing could be done for y'all. So fall in line and shut up. And that's what it's really gonna come to. That's what it's really coming to. All of this is just, you know, politicians kissing babies. All these promises and all these lies about accomplishments and all that kind of stuff. This is just par for the course. This is what always happens. And people fall for it every single time. This whole presidential race has been nothing but a circus, a play. It's entertainment, it's theater. It's all it is. And what it all comes down to is character tropes. That's why that word electability is being thrown around a lot. Electability. Who's electable?
The Democrats who get serious about electability.
And that tells me how important that issue of electability is going to be to Democratic primary voters.
He's considered the electable candidate because he's the most moderate of the bunch.
Electability is always a question. How do you begin to assess who's electable?
Electability. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about character tropes. That's what it's all about. Look at, you know, we have a president now and Donald Trump whose support for him is growing. Look at his character trope. You know what I'm saying? You know, arrogantly rich, entitled, bully. That's what he is. You know what I'm saying? And you know, who you would normally root against because he's the bully, perceived as the villain, but because through popular media and entertainment, they've switched the narratives and programmed us now to root for the villain. You know what I'm saying? Settle for the lesser of two evils. You know, but settle for the evil. You know what I mean? So now, you know, people argue about who we should vote for. Democrat or Republican. And that's the biggest trick that they pulled on us, was making it about Democrats and Republicans. I want you to listen to something that I said in 2006. You ready?
Democrat, Republican, that's just what they intended. That's presidential campaign, vote for an independent and maybe change the system. It's one thing to be blind, it's another thing to see the real and still remain the victim. You couldn't measure my anger with a yardstick. The so-called democratic process is a card trick used by magicians disguised as politicians. They lie to us consistently. Why do we still listen to them?
That's what it's all about. And the biggest trick that they pulled in this whole thing was making it about Democrats and Republicans. Two heads of the same snake. Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. Down with the Democrats, down with the Republicans. Democrat, Republican. It's two heads of the same snake. And we get to arguing about which head is better, which head is better. This head of the snake or that head of the snake. It's the same snake. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to always fall for this until we start exercising our real power. So you got Donald Trump. I already gave his character trope. Then you got Joe Biden, who's the other side of that character trope. He's the rich, popular guy who associates himself to Barack Obama to try to, you know what I'm saying, woo black voters. But he's a liar and a con artist and everything else. You know what I'm saying? That's alleged child molester and everything else. They all come from the same places. He's pretty much Hillary Clinton. You know, Joe Biden is pretty much Hillary Clinton. He's the same character trope of Hillary Clinton, except Hillary Clinton's a female. You know what I'm saying? Hillary Clinton attached herself to her husband. You know what I'm saying? Who at the time, retardedly, people were calling the first black president. It's all the same story. played out over and over and over and over and over as theater and as a way to get people to see where people where people are in this country, what they think, what issues that they think are important, what things that they think are important. This is all an experiment. All this stuff is an experiment. Social conditioning. That's all this stuff is. And we fall for it every single year or every single time. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we end up with what? Old rich white guys rule everything around me. Not cash rules everything around me, old rich white guys rules everything around me. Now, honestly, the last character trope is Bernie. Who honestly, you know what I'm saying? If you base it strictly on the issues, Bernie would be the guy I rock with. But for me, personally,
let me tell you something, man. See a thing named police, politician. Me not trust none of them boy, the road boy. Remember.
But if I was to place my trust in someone or my vote in someone, it would be Bernie. Strictly off of the fact that, number one, universal health care, leveling the playing field, taking on the big pharmaceutical companies, erasing student debt, raising minimum wage to $15 an hour. You know what that would do to this country? You know what that would do to the people that look like me? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that would do a lot. But the problem with that is, number one, first and foremost,
let me tell you something, man. See a thing named police, politician. Me not trust none of them boy, the road boy. Remember.
And then secondly, right, because you don't even have to really trust them. You just have to, as a people, hold their feet to the fire. And we're not going to do that because, enough of us are not willing to make ourselves uncomfortable in order for the greater good. That's what it is. Right? So we left at the whim of a system that was created in order to protect rich white interest. The democratic system was created to empower rich white men, and the justice system was made to protect rich white men, rich white interests, by prosecuting people and you know what I'm saying, either placing people back in slavery, in literal bondage, or just keeping people safe from protecting rich white interest. Police department are, the essential watchdogs, you know what I mean? They're the pawns in that whole process. But until we recognize that, man, things are never going to change. Things are never going to change. And what we have to start doing is we have to start spending our money with ourselves. You know what I'm saying? You look at me, I invest money in myself. I don't buy Gucci and Louis and all that. It's not because I can't afford it. It's because I'd rather spend that money on myself. I'd rather invest in my own brand, or somebody I know, if they have a brand, I invest in their brand. I'm not going to spend my money at Gucci and Louis and Jordan and all that for what? These are the same people that are investing in the private prisons and all that, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we need to start doing. Like if whatever company we we put our money in for anything food, clothing, and shelter related, if it's not a company that's for the betterment of us as a people, and that people can be broken up into however, it could be black folks, it could be just poor folks, it could be whatever, you know what I'm saying? That's where the money needs to be circulated. More people need to start going into business in these fields, food, clothing, and shelter. You know what I'm saying? And then we spend our money with them. You know what I mean? Because as long as we keep making the rich richer, we can yell, fuss, and scream and all of that. As long as we become dependent on their goods and services, And they got us. And everything else is just an elaborate rouge in order to trick everyone into believing that they have some sort of control that they don't. And that's what it all comes down to. And that's the game. And that's the game. And the only way to win the game is to not play the game. It's that simple. But we can't help ourselves. That's why Trump has become a savior to some people. That's why, we can't help ourselves. It's all a game. So, that's all I got. Just sharing my thoughts on where we are right now as a country, as a people. If you are new to the channel, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Pass this around. Just have discussions about it and talk about it. Alright? Peace.